Look at this split screen. On the left side, we have raw extracted materials, timber, raw gold, and unrefined cocoa. On the right, finished goods, furniture, jewelry, and chocolate bars. What happens in the middle to turn the left side into the right side? That middle step is the secondary industrial sector. Economists divide an economy into three main areas. The primary sector handles the extraction of raw materials, like farming and mining. The tertiary sector covers services, like the storefronts selling the final goods. The secondary sector acts as the bridge. Here, raw materials are processed and transformed. It encompasses manufacturing plants, the construction of buildings and roads, and the production of energy. Ghana produces more cocoa than almost any other nation on Earth, and exports millions of tons of raw timber and gold annually. While the extraction side of the economy is highly efficient, the country struggles to build the industrial capacity needed to refine these resources at scale. Without a strong secondary sector, a country has to export its resources at low prices, only to import the refined, finished products back at a premium. Let's look at exactly what causes this bottleneck. To understand why factories struggle to set up and scale, we have to look at the schematic and map out industrial friction. These are the specific bottlenecks that inflate operational costs and discourage investment. First, there are infrastructure deficits. Frequent power outages, inconsistent water supplies, and poor road networks constantly disrupt production. Second, limited access to affordable financing restricts a business's ability to expand. Third, there is a skilled labor shortage. The existing workforce often lacks the specialized technical training required by modern manufacturing. Fourth, overall production costs run high due to expensive logistics, energy, and imported materials. Fifth, complex bureaucratic regulations delay business registrations. And sixth, technological gaps leave local plants relying on outdated equipment, sharply reducing their daily efficiency. Take a moment to think about that third challenge. If a manufacturing plant cannot find enough trained workers, what specific action could educational institutions or the government take to resolve it? These 6 variables compound each other. A delay in licensing combined with a power outage and high loan rates makes it nearly impossible to produce local goods cheaply enough to compete on the global market. We can look at this matrix to see how targeted policies map directly to those 6 bottlenecks. To clear the path for industrialization, government and private sector interventions must address specific friction points. For the physical hurdles, we need hard infrastructure upgrades. That means investing in the national grid with renewable energy, modernizing ports, and establishing industrial development funds that offer affordable, tailored loans to manufacturers. To address the workforce gap, vocational and apprenticeship programs must be implemented to align school curricula with actual industry needs. Simultaneously, production costs drop when governments provide subsidies for energy-efficient technologies and promote the use of local raw materials. On the administrative side, governments can simplify compliance by setting up one-stop shops for business licensing. Finally, offering research and development grants encourages businesses to adopt the modern technologies required to scale up output. This image of a modern train in Ghana shows what these infrastructure upgrades look like in practice. Reliable rail networks are essential for moving heavy raw materials from extraction sites to processing plants, and then transporting the finished goods efficiently to ports. Solving these 6 challenges creates a predictable environment for industrial growth. By reducing risk and overhead, the government makes local manufacturing viable for both domestic entrepreneurs and international investors. We can see exactly how this framework operates by looking at this photograph of freshly harvested cocoa beans. Ghana is the 2nd largest producer of cocoa in the world. Historically, however, the country exported most of these beans in their raw, unprocessed form. This diagram tracks the historical path of a cocoa pod. When raw beans are loaded straight onto export ships, the country captures only a fraction of the product's final retail value, leaving the profit margin incredibly thin. Local processing facilities struggled to operate. Unreliable power grids shut down heavy equipment, high logistics costs ate into profits, and local operators often lacked the specialized technical expertise and affordable financing required to refine the cocoa efficiently. To reverse this, specific policies were applied. The government introduced tax incentives to offset operational costs for cocoa processors. Investments were channeled into power grids near industrial zones, and local firms formed partnerships with international companies to transfer technical expertise. With these solutions in place, the beans follow a new path. They are processed locally into high-quality cocoa butter, powder, and finished chocolate. This internal processing captures the added value domestically, generating higher profit margins and employing a skilled workforce. The cocoa sector provides a template for increasing a nation's share of global trade. Profitability rises when a country exports refined butter and chocolate rather than raw beans, as processing captures the highest margins of the value chain. Here is a final look at our summary matrix, mapping the 6 primary industrial challenges directly to their corresponding solutions. This logical framework applies across industries, from food processing to heavy manufacturing. Now it is your turn to apply this model. Think about other raw materials extracted in your region. Identify the specific bottlenecks preventing them from being processed locally, and present the targeted solutions required to overcome those barriers. As you consolidate your notes, consider these questions. Why is physical infrastructure a strict prerequisite for industrial growth? And why is processing raw materials domestically necessary for long-term economic stability?